It's taken its own sweet time coming, but it's finally here. On this edition of Test Drive, the Mini 5-door. The new Mini 5-door has a lot in common with its 2-door sibling. While it resembles the smaller car, there are some significant changes, all of which are for the better, I might add. The biggest change, aside from the addition of 2 more doors, is the 73mm stretch in the wheelbase. It now measures 25/67mm. Remarkably, the stretch does not alter the proportions to any meaningful extent, which is a good thing. Obviously, the key addition to this new Mini are these rear doors and a surprisingly usable rear seat. Now, when you get back here, you don't want to be an NBA player, but for an average person, it's not a problem. The other thing they've thought through very nicely has to do with the trunk. Behind this rear seat is a usable trunk. Now, with the seats in the upright position, 278 litres, and if you fold them down, that number grows to 941. There is, however, one thing I don't like. There is a well, which is good when the seat's up, but when the seats are down, you've got that, plus the seats don't sit flush with the floor. It makes for a very teeter-tottery thing when you've got a large box in there. The base Cooper arrives with a 1.5-litre force-fed 3-cylinder engine. While it has ample power, the Cooper S brings a much more rewarding drive. The 2-litre 4-cylinder is equipped with a twin-scroll turbocharger. It brings 189 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque at just 1,250 RPM. The latter means there is absolutely no lag off the line, and whenever the driver spurs the Mini on, the response is immediate. It also runs to 100k in 6.9 seconds when married to the 6-speed manual gearbox. There is an automatic available for the shiftless. The cabin of the 5-door is all Mini. Toggle switches galore, centrally mounted information gauges, very comfortable seats and a near perfect driving position. If you move up the ladder, you also get a full-on infotainment system. It is passable, but I don't like the fact you have to use these controls rather than touching the screen. Now, the one thing that did irk me, this thing up here is supposed to be a head-up display. It doesn't work. The stiff chassis is suspended on front struts and a multiple link setup at the back. The ride and handling balance is just about spot on. It's comfortable on a rougher piece of pavement, yet when the hammer is down and the pylons beckon, the suspenders take a very quick set, which minimises body roll, and it maintains this attitude right throughout the pylon run. Ditto the steering. It is nicely weighted and it turns off centre in a linear fashion. In the end, it imparts a very crisp feel. Simply point the Mini and it scoots. You know, this Mini 5-door has an impishness to the way it drives. You go honking into a corner, dial in steering, the suspension hunkers down, clip the corner, back on the gas and you're off down the road. It all comes together such that the driver ends up with an enormous smile. Heck, it even makes grocery shopping fun. There are 3 driving modes. Green minimises everything, so forget it. In mid and sport modes, the response to a stab at the gas gets ever stronger, and when downshifting to set the car up for a corner, it automatically rev matches, which brings a seamless shift and it pegs the engine at the perfect revs. Likewise, the traction and stability control systems can be tailored to the taste of the drive. I turned off traction, but left the stability control system on. Minis are kind of like the story of the 3 bears. The 2-door original was just a little too small. The Countryman, well, it's just a little too large. This new 5-door, on the other hand, well, it's just about perfect. It rides and drives like its 2-door sibling, which means it's a real Mini, and yet you get most of the space you find in the Countryman. You really can't ask for much more.